Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Make It a Great Week, where we start off each Monday morning with a strong cup of coffee and a positive conversation. I'm your host, Justin.
And I'm Opa. Let's make it a great week.
Curate means a member of the clergy engaged as assistant to a vicar, rector, or parish priest.
Thanks so much.
It means
Select, organize, and look after.
organize, and look after the items in a collection or exhibition.
But the idea of selecting, what do I watch, listen to, what am I going to take my time doing? Sometimes I just got to shut it all off and say, I got to think.
Well, how do you think it's affected your brain going from when you were growing up, basically just radio and some TV? I don't think when you were growing up, it was like everyone was watching TV all the time, right? Or was it already like that?
It was because it was a novelty at the time. People, we were watching, yeah. I mean, every day after school, we'd watch Green Acres, Hogan's Heroes, Gilligan's Island,
But going from
Medico Junction.
scheduled broadcasts to not only you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want, but then on your phone, how do you think that's affected you? As it's been more and more normalized.
Yeah, it's, again, you got to just, you look at it, you say, I cannot spend this much time at, I've only got a certain amount of time that I can spend on viewing things. We're not even talking about books. I mean, you say, I want to read. Okay, well, that's another form of gathering information.
That has been a struggle for me, is that I want to read more. Like
Good
we
luck
went-
with the family.
Well, when I went to that big book sale they had at McAllister Square, and I went through the history section because I'm interested in World War II, and I'm just looking through all these books, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to read. I just don't know.
I know. Where do I start?
These all look mildly interesting, but like, why should I spend 3 months on one battle? Should I spend it on a campaign? Should I spend it on a country? Should I spend it on a leader?
Bird's eye view
Yeah, it's
of
like
everything.
I don't know. And then I guess that's probably just laziness. But then I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know how I'll ever start this.
Yeah.
We should talk to Timothy. I've heard he's well read.
Okay. Very well read. Yeah, I mean, I think we got a good idea, maybe on the vacation. Just say what do you want to focus on, and I think when you get into the nuances of things, that's when you become a more of a you're an expert on things. Like, okay, World War II. Let's say, for you to use that example, World War II. The Allies version of World War II, and then who are the players in that, and then you can get down to specific battles and specific generals. My favorite being Patton. What up, Patton? But
He sounded like a crazy guy.
he was pretty intense,
Yeah.
and you know how he died?
Well, don't spoil it for me.
Okay, oh, well, it's pretty interesting.
No, how did he die?
Automobile accident after the war.
It was after the war? Okay.
I mean, he would get, people, in one, why are you standing up there? You're going to get hit and you're going to get killed. We need you. And he gets killed anticlimactically in an automobile accident after the war.
Well, I remember in the North African campaign, there was this big initial loss to the Germans, and they were saying that the general was fighting so far in the rear he didn't know what was going on in the front, and that's when they said, well, Patton, you should lead this North African campaign, because he was going to be in the front the whole time.
Was it against Rommel? Was that? In the movie, I think that with George C. Scott, I read your book.
He's saying that to Rommel?
Yeah.
I only watched a little bit of that movie. It was pretty intense.
Yeah. I love his speech there. The 4 or 5 minute speech to the troops.
It was really, I mean, it is a really cool idea though that they were landing on the beach in the west, and Montgomery's already fighting them in the east, and then it was a very simple just pushing from both sides
Yeah.
until you squish them out of North Africa, and that's what they did.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's
We're turning into a history podcast.
yeah. Yeah. One specific sliver of history,
That is the part that's mind-boggling to me when you start thinking about, like you said, the information that's available. Like
Yeah.
I could spend the rest of my life studying World War II.
hmm
And not even that, I could spend the rest of my life studying a handful of battles in World War II. Just understanding all the soldiers, who wrote about it, who survived, who were the, like you said, the
Yeah.
players, what were their backgrounds that led them up to that battle, what was the context of the battle. I mean, and that's just one war in the world history.
Yeah.
And you
And
can
one
focus
battle.
on one battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or even
And
if you say one war, how many wars have there been in human history?
who knows? I mean, how many wars we currently? No.
I just,
Um,
I feel like I've been developing more of a respect for historians because I
Yeah,
listen to
yeah.
some of these podcasts and you just hear how they have studied it for so long that they can just talk about it
mhm.
and they don't need to prepare notes. They're talking from their passion for the project.
I remember was looking at this one. I think it was from Hillsdale College, talking about the guy who wrote the premier series on Winston Churchill.
Mm.
It's like a 5 or 6 volume set on Winston Churchill.
I think I have that book.
No, it's 6 volumes.
Yeah, I have. It's like the book is this thick.
Yeah, but that's one volume. There's 6 of them.
Oh, no. This I think is a summary of the 6. That's
Okay.
what it is. Yeah, no, yeah, and it's still huge.
1,000 pages, probably.
But a lot of it is his journals.
What? I don't understand. It's a different level. I don't understand these kind of things. I mean,
I think it's because he was such a prolific writer. I didn't finish his book. It was a huge book, and I guess,
Yeah.
like I said, it was a summary. But he was writing every single day about everything.
where do you find time to do that? I mean, I guess you don't have a family, and I don't know.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
family.
Okay. All right. Well, then he was an amazing guy. Much more amazing than I thought. But something like that is just, it's crazy. And how nuanced you can get and still, like you say, you could take your entire life. I studied the Battle of the Bulge
Yeah.
my entire life. It's
Because you hear these podcast episodes where they'll say it's the Battle of the Bulge expert. This
Yeah.
is
right.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Spent the last 6 years compiling all the different sources
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
write one book
Yeah. And
about the Battle of the Bulge. And I'm thinking like, wow. I mean, I guess in some ways it would be very fulfilling to know like this is my goal for these years. I'm going to know this subject matter better than anyone else in the whole world. But in also some ways it would seem like you get done with the 6 years and then like, well, what's next?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Battle of Waterloo, some Napoleon. I mean, there's so many different ones out there.
Yeah.
And you can't. I mean, yeah, I appreciate people who get in a little. What would you say? A desire to go ahead and delve into something so much that they spend years of their life. How they do it is beyond me. Do you get grants for these things? Do you get government money, or who spends the money
That I
so
don't
that you
know.
can survive, or do you survive? I don't know. Do you, anyway, that's just interesting thing.
Well, we have made more plans for this family vacation that's coming up. We
Yeah.
are quickly approaching it.
Right.
How many days out are we now?
Oh boy, 2, right? It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3.
3 days out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm getting ready.
Have you packed?
Bubbling up. No, of course not. No, not. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I want some of these on vacation. Oh yeah, see that little snack of drinks behind you there?
Oh, Olipop.
Olipop, yeah.
I'm gonna find those at day one. I recently developed a very big love for lollipops.
Oh, really?
I actually didn't think that they were that good, and then
Yeah.
It's convinced me.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And Julia likes them. She likes the root beer. So don't touch the root beer.
Those are my favorite ones.
Really? Oh, man.
Actually, no, those are Lily's favorite.
Oh, man, Lily, please don't touch the root beer. Those are Julia.
Is Julie excited?
No, she's not excited.
She's a homebody.
Yeah, she likes to just sit here.
I think
she'll have fun, though.
I think, was it Oma that was telling me the last family vacation when you guys got back, she just took a deep breath and said, "Home sweet home."
Yeah, that sounds like her. But she'll say, that was fun. When she doesn't want to go, she'll literally drag her feet to some event, and then once we get in the car coming home, that was fun. So she's just that way. That's Julia for you. But yeah, you looking forward to it?
I'm very ready.
Have you made plans?
Yeah, we're gonna go on a huge snack run before getting all the snacks that we need. Already talking about which stuffed animals she's gonna bring.
Oh, cool.
What books. So
Well, tell her I've already bought a bunch of combos.
yeah.
So she asked me yesterday, bring some combos.
Did she really?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that was so cute. But,
Yeah, she likes those combos.
Yeah,
I liked those when I was a kid too.
Yeah,
they were good.
Good, I like them. I like them. So I'm looking forward to that. And I guess they got a big Costco trip tonight. The girls are going.
That's
You
the
know?
rumor that
Yeah.
all the wives, all the women
That
are
want to
gonna
go.
Yeah.
Gonna go to Costco and see what we can do there. So hopefully, memories will be made.
Yeah, and the group T-shirts are in production.
Oh, are they really? That's cool. That's
Lily has completed her design.
good.
It's
Good.
Outstanding, probably the best one yet.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. That's.
yeah.
Woo, she already set
She's
the
a lot
bar
of
high.
T-shirts to get through, though.
Yeah,
Maybe a couple nights worth.
it's amazing. Yeah, that's growing. That's
All right, well, I have a question for you.
okay. As long
Are
as
you
it's
ready?
not too tough, because these are, people don't understand. These are spur of the moment, and I'm winging it every time he asks a question.
Would you rather have the question ahead of time?
No, I guess not. Yeah.
Because then you just have to, for me at least, I almost perform worse when I know what someone is going to ask, because then I just turn it over my head a bunch.
Yeah.
And
That may be.
by the time it comes out, it sounds like I've thought about for too long.
Yeah.
And then you start hedging everything. And well, anyways, the question is, we're gonna have an alternate reality here, okay? Are you
Okay.
ready for this alternate reality? In this alternate reality, you are either a coffee shop owner or a restaurant owner. Okay? Which one would you rather be? And why?
Coffee shop or restaurant?
And it's very broad, so this could be you're like a Chick-fil-A operator, or you are a 2-star Michelin operator, or
Oh, okay.
what appeals to you? What appeals to you more? What appeals to you? Either a nice local coffee shop, or insert whatever you have envisioned for a
Well,
restaurant.
it would depend totally on what do I desire out of it. If I'm desiring money, I would say, restaurant. If I'm desiring just, a
The joy of running it. Like, what would bring you joy and pleasure? And like, you walk in the morning, this is your thing. You get to build out the menu. You get to handshake the guests. You get to choose the location and the brand. What would appeal to you?
to me, right off the top of my head, I would say coffee shop because I like coffee. I love the smell of coffee. But the real reason is because it's simple.
hmm
I don't want to mess with menus and different things like that with all the things a restaurant would have. I would value simplicity over the restaurant scene, and coffee and maybe some pastries, maybe teas, but very limited. And I would just like the simplicity sake. But I just would say this, that neither one of those is on my desire radar whatsoever.
Okay, that was not the question, though.
I
You're
know,
bringing it
I
down
know.
a little bit.
I know. So, I mean, that would, I would just go by desire for simplicity and, what would sound like the least hassle of a business operation.
Well, your dad owned a grocery store, right, growing up?
Yes, he did.
So does that appeal to you, owning that type of establishment?
The amount of work that he put in it and what I saw go into it, it would be nice. It would be a nice family business to own.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, there's an amount of work that went into it, and for a simple business, yes, it's a nice appealing business. He just didn't have a grocery store business. His dad started, it was a fruit market, basically, where it was a building that had garage doors, something like the tomato vine. It is roll up the garage doors. People could come in and get fresh produce most of the time. And then he started adding like little grocery things as things were added to the shelves. And because this was like, we're talking about probably 1950s, 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
So things were starting to be packaged and processed. Starting to, well, look, we can start processing this stuff. It can stay on the shelf
20 years.
Nothing will change, So as things like that start happening, adds more and more things. But then to his fresh grocery business, he and his brother owned it. He said, you know what? He used to buy his fresh produce from a guy that would go up to Chicago and get fresh produce. And my dad said, let's just cut out this middleman. Let's just cut him out and let's go up to Chicago ourselves and buy our own fresh produce. And so that's what he did. His entrepreneurial spirit, bought a truck, nice straight back, probably 24-foot truck. And he just went up to Chicago every Monday and Friday or Monday and Thursday and bought fresh produce right from, it's called Chicago South Water Street Market. And it's a unique thing because you go to the place and there's the onion dealer, every kind of onion you could think of. They would have in the onion dealer, and you'd have white ones, yellow ones, red ones, big ones, small ones. If you want an onion, you say, I want 5 bags of the 50 pounds of onions. Boom, they'd take them and bring them out to your truck, and you'd load them on the truck. Then you go to the lettuce dealer, and again, every kind of lettuce you think of. Banana. That one specific shop, and it was, when I say shop, it was it was not a building, it was just
like a market.
A market of a place just for bananas, potatoes. How many potatoes? And he would go there and say, I need 10 boxes of the iceberg lettuce. I'm at stall number 22. They'd load them up, and I would be the guy in the back of the truck.
I was going to ask if you had gone. You went with him?
Yeah, I went with him, and they bring it over to the truck, and we'd load it on. I'd load it on the truck. The potatoes, 100-pound bag of potatoes. Pick them up, load them on the truck, and then whatever else, any other piece of produce. And then what he would do is on his way back because we lived about 80 to 100 miles from that area, southwest of Chicago, he would go to these restaurants and say, hey, do you need fresh produce? I'm coming through here every Monday and Thursday. What do you want? And he'd get their order from them, and then he'd drop them off, fresh produce. From these restaurants, all the way up and down the highway. And so it was good. He did, and then he found out these growers in Michigan. You ever heard of Kalamazoo, Michigan?
Mm-mm.
Never heard of Kalamazoo, Michigan. People don't even think it's a Kalamazoo. That's a trivia question, Ben. Where's Kalamazoo? But it's in Michigan, and they have these big markets up there where these farmers come and they sell their fresh produce, strawberries, peaches, apples. And he would go up there. It's like a 4-hour trip from where we were, and he'd get fresh produce, and then same thing, deliver it to, as it making its way back, delivering it to all these restaurants and everything and mom and pop shops that wanted it. He would do that. So he built up a nice little business like that. But would I want to do that? No.
So when you were doing it with him, were you thinking, this is what I will be doing? I'm going to take this over for him? Were your brothers
I was
that?
14-ish. It stopped at 14 because he left the scene, left the
But
family.
before that, were you thinking?
I couldn't think that far ahead. No, I wasn't thinking that it was gonna be mine one day. No, I never.
So he he sold it because of the divorce. Sold this grocery store.
Well, he and his brothers kept with the business for a while. I can't remember the end result or what. He had a big fire in the business, and that may have been the thing that
Oh, really?
put the end of it. But I can't remember because I left the area in Illinois when I was 18, come down here to go to Bob Jones, and then kind of lost track of what was going on up there. But after a few years, he, with his new wife, moved to Florida. But yeah, it was a strange from. So when I left when I was 18, there wasn't a lot of dealings with that, and I can't remember when it actually it was called the Ottawa Fruit Market when it actually the died, or when it was when it was declared. I don't think he sold it to anybody. I think it was maybe it was the end result was the fire. His moniker used to be Killer Kain on Main. It's pretty kind of
Is that where you get your stuff from?
Killer Kain on Main, and that's what it was on Main Street. And I remember him writing out commercials, handwriting commercials, and it was live on the radio. And he would shush the kids, and he'd go get on the phone and say, "Here's the day. Here's the specials of the week, and it's from Killer Kain on Main." And everybody knew that Killer Kain on Main. That's what it was called. My mom hated that, but she didn't like that terminology. Killer Kain on Main, but it worked.
Yeah.
I don't know where the name Killer came from, but that's what it was when growing up. And so I think he either got insurance settlement or something, but then retired to Florida.
Oh, so he retired at that point. He didn't.
Well, he retired from that business in Florida. The guy never retired because he went to, of all things, become a produce manager at Cash and Carry, which is part of Publix, and worked for Publix for years until one of the produce guys there said, "Hey, look, we could use a field guy out here," and I can't remember what the name of the company was, but a field representative for these companies that buy these from the field, the peppers and the tomatoes. And he would go to the packing houses and say, "Okay, we want 1,000 cases of peppers. We want 1,000 cases of tomatoes." But he would make sure he'd go to these packing houses all over the Florida area, Ocala,
Yeah.
Florida, up in that area. I think was his base. But he did that for a long time, and traveled all over Georgia, just in these fields, making sure that the packing houses were having the right type of produce, so that these produce people could distribute it to the grocery stores and everything. But he really liked that. That was a really interesting thing. So he did that for a while, and then got this wild notion to move back to Illinois, which was crazy if you ask me. But he wanted to move back to Illinois after about 15 years down there, and that was our vacations. We'd go to his house. It was right like 4 or 5 minutes from the Gulf Coast.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, it was beautiful. Right off you ever heard of Tamiami Avenue?
No.
Tamiami Avenue, yeah. It runs down close to the Gulf. But he was like, I guess 60 miles south of Clearwater.
Okay.
Nokomis area, somewhere like in that. And it was just beautiful because we'd go down there. He had a nice house, indoor pool, or not indoor pool, but a screened-in pool. The kids would love it down there. And he'd in fact take the oldest couple, 3 girls, 2 or 3 times. He let them stay there for a couple weeks at a time, and just they went to Disney World. They went everywhere. He just was a wonderful. I mean, they were they're wonderful grandparents.
Yeah.
Enjoying the time down there. And then he gets this wild notion to sell it all and move to Illinois. He also had a laundromat down there, too, by the way. So he bought a laundromat while he was down there. So the guy's never stopped working.
I was gonna say.
And then he moved back to Illinois, becomes a grain inspector for the barges on the Illinois River, federal grain inspector, where they, as these farmers are, these dump trucks, huge dump trucks full of grain, soybeans and beans and corn, and he would have to, as they were loading them on barges, take a sample every now and then, make sure that the moisture level was correct because they'd get all moldy or mildewy, and so he was a grain inspector on the Illinois River for years. And I think when he hit I think 80 or 85, probably 80. I think it was 80 because he's 90. He'll be 91 come next a couple of weeks from now. 91. He says, I'm done. I'm done working at age 80. He says, I'm done. He always used to say, I only work half days. 12 hours is enough for everybody. Anybody. And that's what he'd do. He'd put in that much time. It was crazy how much he worked. His work ethic was unbelievable. But he did a great job, and he was a great provider, good dad, and he stopped. I think working it was in his 80s when he finally ended up saying, I'm not going to work anymore for money.
Yeah.
And that was it. And now he moved back down to Florida with his wife. His wife, Nana, Pat, if you could imagine, they had a nice house. This house, 5 bedrooms, fully. He redid the basement so that he could invite anybody over he wanted to, and they could spend a night in the basement. We had a blast there. It was wonderful. And like I said, screened-in pool, and it was just right on a nice little subdivision. It wasn't exorbitant kind of house. It wasn't tremendously thing, but it will go like for $800 a night right now on an Airbnb because we looked it up and it was a Airbnb right now.
Oh wow!
And it's like $800 a night. It was a nice and a great subdivision near the Gulf Coast. It was like 4 or 5 minutes from the Gulf Coast. You could be there, boom, and swimming pool to boot. And his wife, he one day says, "I want to move back to Illinois." I can't imagine his wife agreeing with that.
Yeah.
He had a laundromat too.
Yeah.
Only laundromat on Nokomis, on Venice Island. I guess it was Venice Island, because they said you couldn't put another laundromat on there. They said no more laundromat because of the environmental concerns. They said we're not going to offer any more laundromat permits on this island. He had the only one. It was pretty amazing. So he ends up selling his house, and moving back to Illinois. And his wife and come to find out later, she had agreed to it because she said, the reason I will agree to this is if you allow me to go back to be with my sister every February, the coldest month up in Illinois. If I can spend the month of February down with my sister, who was in Florida, then I will, I'll agree to moving back to Illinois. Because how in the world do you convince someone to leave all that and go back to Illinois? I don't know.
It's a big climate change.
For sure. Yeah. But he wanted to, and she agreed to it. She's a good wife. But they compromised there. And so every February she would stay an entire month down there with her sister. And one February, she called back and called him and said, Kenny, I found this nice little place right in my sister's subdivision. And it was like a retirement home. I mean, not retirement home, but retirement subdivision where everybody runs around in golf carts all over the place. It was just nice, quiet. It was in Port Charlotte. I don't know if you know where Port Charlotte is. It was beautiful, nice little place. And there was a place right across the street from the clubhouse. And so he says, well, Pat, if you like it, buy it. And we'll move back down there. So they moved back down to Florida for a couple of years. And then Pat developed it's called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and it's horrible sickness, where you can't. It's your lungs start scarring up. Anyway, they were there for several years, or a few years anyway, and then she passed away down there. And then a couple of months later, he sold everything and went back up north, and that's where he's living today, in a retirement village or retirement apartment, high rise in Ottawa. So, yeah,
so he's back and forth a lot.
He has. I was really impressed at that age. He was wanting to do that, but he did not want to retire in Florida by himself. He wanted to be up in Illinois with his family, his kids. He got a brother, 2 sisters, and 2 sons up there, and two daughters up there. So that was pretty cool. And now he's living by himself in that retirement. I say high rise. It's like 6 stories or something like this.
Mid-rise.
Mid-rise, yeah.
Well, that was a delightful detour for me asking you about would you rather a
Yeah,
coffee shop or a restaurant?
Yeah. Well, he did own a restaurant too. He owned a Big T. I think it was called Big T. Big T was like a Tasty Freeze.
Uh-huh.
It was a Tasty Freeze. It's like Dairy Queen, but Tasty Freeze. They had fried chicken, they had hamburgers, and then they had soft serve ice cream. And he owned a Tasty Freeze. He sold it to a guy who I think made it into a kind of a sit-down restaurant. So he did have that on the south side of Ottawa, Illinois, and that's where he did get into restaurant foray. And I came back from college and helped him a couple summer, or at least one summer I was there helping him out, and then I think that's then he ended up selling it. But a lot of work in that type of business, a lot of work, and I never thought of ever on continuing into that or whatever. So to answer your question, coffee shop. Anyway, wow,
Makes sense.
that's that's something else. Woof. Sorry about all that blather, but
This is why we're here.
Yeah,
I like it.
it.
I never know what we're going to get. Well, I want to remind everyone that on top of sending in whatever story you would like to about some kindness that was done to you, a selfless act, we are also loving to hear anything that you're thankful for. We're starting to do that segment on the show. So if you have something you want to send in, what are you thankful for this week? Let us know, and we will share it. You can message us on Instagram. You can message us wherever we post social media. We've been more active on social media recently, so you can go ahead and go check out what we've been posting there.
What are you thankful for this week?
You
Anything
talk about
that
your
you're
dad a
thinking?
lot this week. I'm thankful for my dad. You talk about providing for you. He provided for us our entire childhood, and I've talked about him before on the show, but he was just always spending time with us. He had 7 kids,
Yeah.
but even with me and my 6 siblings, I never felt like he wasn't present. He always knew me personally, as he did all of his children. He worked incredibly hard. He's had the same job for 40 plus years.
Wow.
I'm not the same job at the same company.
Yeah.
He's been consistent at
Wow.
mine, and for my whole life, whenever stuff has gone on, I can always count on my dad to talk to him about something. But also, I feel like through every valley we've gone through as a family, he's been there, stable and not overreacting and calm. So yeah, I am incredibly thankful for him, and I am aware that not everyone has a dad, but also not everyone has a dad that is just there for them. And,
Yeah.
he started working from home when I was pretty young, which no one used to do that. But that was when we moved to South Carolina, and it was just amazing to be able to see him every day. I remember
Wow.
going into his office and probably bugging him while he's on all these phone calls and stuff. But it was just good to have him there. And he never seemed like he didn't want to be there. He seemed like he just loved
Wow.
being a dad and
That's
a
good.
father. So
That is so cool. For him to have the courage to have 7 kids, that's a big deal. But to be there, and that's one of the most important things, just to be present.
Yeah.
To be present.
yeah,
Your kids, they just want you there, so that they know that daddy's in another room or whatever, or
Yeah.
close by, that they can just go wherever there's something major important about that, just being there for kids. And so wow, kudos to him. I would like to get to know him more. I mean, I've known him more on the pickleball court. He's excellent pickleballer.
He is.
Yeah, he's really good at that. But it seems like a fun person to be around, and certainly he's raised some great kids there. Current person withstanding, Yeah.
yeah.
So
You should meet the other ones.
yeah, I have met a few of them. Seem like great people, great kids, and a lot to be proud of. And not without their hardships, that's for sure. But every family has them.
Yeah.
Every family does them. But yeah, that's
What are
pretty
you
cool.
thankful for this week?
This is weird. This may sound really weird, but
Okay.
Squash.
Okay.
Not just squash, but the frozen squash. I mean, we had squash last night. Okay, here I don't have to, till the garden, grow it, clean it. No, I mean, I can get a bag of squash, throw it in the microwave for a few minutes, and boom, I have a it's looks fresh, however
Yeah.
they freeze it like that. But to have that at my convenient and get my quota, my desire of squash right there. I
Yeah.
mean, and then tomorrow I can have whatever. There's so many. Maybe I should say frozen vegetables. Yeah, I'm really thankful for frozen vegetables. Squash was just on my mind because we had it
Yeah,
last
yeah.
night, and it was just great. It's just amazing what we have in this day and age. It's great. So, frozen vegetables.
All right, I like it.
Good.
Any human interest story this week?
I just saw one that kind of caught my attention. Badminton, badminton, right? They have tournaments in badminton. You do know that?
No.
Yeah, they
In
do.
Britain?
I think this was Chinese of some sort, or Asian. Excuse me, I should say Asian of some sort. I can't remember what country over there, what Asian country, but this girl was ahead in it, and they had to take a break because she had somehow cut her foot. I mean, they don't do this barefooted, but somehow
Well, badminton's a bit more aggressive than I remember.
somehow I don't know if she had something on her foot. Maybe it was a blister or whatever. But they were looking all over it with her medical people. Were looking all over for the right tape to tape her foot up. And lo and behold, her competitor comes walking across the court and gives her the tape that she had. And oh, thank you very much. This is the tape that exactly the thing that they were looking for. So the
And it was
competitor.
poisoned. No? Okay.
No, and she uses it, and thank you very much, but ends up winning. I mean, she beats her. She beats the person who gave her the tape to put on.
So what's
her foot.
the lesson here?
The lesson is that this person sacrificed part of their equipment so that this person can go out and beat them. I don't know.
You help someone and they beat you? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
That is a great
good-
example of selflessness.
Yes.
Of the human.
What's it say? No, let no good deed go unpunished, or something. And so this was the person after they won the victory deeply bowed to the other person, saying, "Thank you very much because you're allowed me to beat you." I don't know. It was just kind of funny. I said, "Well, that was really selfless of them."
Well, it sounds like she didn't dehumanize her opponent, and that's an important thing.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that
what
in these competitions is that it's like the football players who, after someone gets a bad injury, you see some of these guys will just, the ones who injured them will just, be sitting on the bench like nothing happened.
Yeah.
But I feel like the players that seem a bit more human will walk up and try to apologize and
Right.
see if they're okay, and you can tell that, that was not their intention.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the kind of the same thing here.
Yeah, I like that, and I thought it was pretty interesting. A lesson that I could probably take to heart, at times. Because if
Are you
it's,
competitive?
yeah, if you know what, I'll sit there and watch you squirm. Sorry, what they say. What in the realm of politics, if somebody's crashing and burning in front of you, don't try to help them. If they're saying something and let them get deeper and deeper. They keep doing interviews and then it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Don't jump in. Don't try to make any waves. Don't get any headlines for yourself. Let them take all the spotlight and let them crash and burn. Brutal. But yeah, I am. I'm more competitive like that. That would say, oh well, you should have wrote the right tape. Let's get going. Time's up. On the court. Oh, I don't know, but maybe I'll have to learn. But anyway, that's very good.
So if we share our tape with our opponent at a badminton game,
That would be something that you would help somebody make it a great week.
Make it a great week with Joy Kain.